What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Sports Plug TV, and in this video we're taking a deep dive into the long, lingering, bitter rivalry between two of the best NBA point guards ever, CP3 and Steph Curry. The rivalry between Paul and Curry has been one of the most watched over the last few years. It's been a rivalry that has led to Steph and Chris bringing their families to compete against each other on Family Feud. Formerly a young promising star against a crafty, grizzled floor general, the roles have changed since Curry came in as a student to dominating matchups and even putting Paul in one of the most long, ingrained highlights of his career. It wasn't long ago that CP was resident dime and mastered the league. He dominated this matchup, a stronger, feistier, and more experienced as a floor general. But the tables turned after Curry returned from a long absence following an ankle procedure with a renewed sense of ambition, determined to take the throne. It was a personal vendetta to get better than him, Warriors forward Draymond Green said in 2015 in the San Francisco Chronicle. That's how it should be. It's nothing against Chris, nothing against Steph. It was just, I want to be better than you. I think everybody uses someone to push them. True blue rivalries are scarce in today's NBA, and there's nothing more fascinating than the backcourt duel between Warriors Curry and CP, who is now playing for the OKC Thunder. While both of them are NBA stars, they take dramatically different approaches to the game. Chris Paul is a throwback point guard, while Curry embodies the evolution of the game towards beyond the three-point line, where he has weaponized the three-pointer, turning it into a play just as exciting as a slam dunk. But where did this rivalry come from? Where did it start? What happened between these two that sparked a fire and that has since turned into a raging inferno? Both CP3 and Steph call the same state home, North Carolina. Chris is a native of Winston-Salem who went on to star for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Steph, on the other hand, grew up in Charlotte and played for the Davidson College Wildcats. In fact, we take a look back, CP3 even served as a mentor to rookie Steph in 2009. The two all-star point guards actually spent time working out together in the offseason at Chris Paul's summer camp. Steph has even said in an interview how great a mentor Chris was when it came to making him understand what it took to reach that elite level. On the other hand, Chris has also revealed in a separate interview that he told Steph just to be aggressive during his rookie season. So, no animosity, right? None whatsoever? Steph and Chris nearly got traded from one another. As journalist and author Ethan Strauss wrote in his book, The Victory Machine, the Warriors nearly traded Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to the New Orleans Hornets in exchange for Chris Paul during the 2011 NBA offseason. Both franchises involved in the trade were interested and comfortable with the terms of the agreement. Vision for impending his free agency eventually broke up the deal. Paul wanted out of the Big Easy and agreed to the principle to the trade. He warned the Warriors that he had no interest in staying in the Bay Area long term. Instead, the Hornets wound up sending Paul to the Clippers, and Golden State kept their future All-Star. However, things started to get chippy between the two in the 2012-2013 season. During their first meeting that season on October 31st, 8 technical fouls were called and flopping charges and excessive celebrations. The following season, the Clippers refused to have chapel with the Warriors before their first meeting. Christmas wasn't so cordial either after Curry pulled this move off on Chris. When the Clippers ended the Warriors season with a 126-121 Game 7 win in the playoffs, a hallway altercation ensued. That loss right there seemingly lit a fire underneath babyface Curry, and he trained like a madman during the offseason. One can even say that CP3 is the reason why Steph became so unguardable, cold-blooded, and the assassin that he is now. Through the years, no opponent has been more of a motivator for Steph than Chris Paul. No point guard has ever pushed Curry to improve like CP3 did. It was a standard set by CP3, the clashes that they shared through the developing Warriors-Clippers rivalry that fueled Curry in the crafting of his transcendent game. In seasons to come, Curry made it a habit of trying to embarrass Paul in every game, and vice versa, including this gem of double cross during the 2015 season. That move was filthy, and the NBA called it embarrassing for CP to get laid out like that. There was also the magical crisscross that Steph did while Chris was trying to defend him. The move was coined by former head coach Jeff Van Gundy as the greatest move he's ever seen. Chris Paul was poised to get his revenge during the 2018 Western Conference Finals as he led the Rockets to a 3-2 series lead over the Golden State team that had all the pieces to the puzzle. Chris dropped 27 points in a 95-92 Game 4 win to tie the series up at 2 games apiece. The very next game, Chris added 20 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals in a 98-94 Game 5 win that put the Rockets a win away from completing the hugest upset of the Warriors. However, Chris suffered a hamstring injury late in Game 5 that would knock him out for the remainder of the series. Man, I wish that he would have played the rest of that series. I wanted to see it. Anyway, he could only watch from the bench as the Warriors won both Games 6 and 7 to get the Western Conference title. The following year, Chris had again Steph and the Warriors on the ropes as Houston took a 2-1 lead in the Western semifinals. CP even used Steph's signature celebration on him that one particular play. All signs appeared to be pointing right at Chris finally getting his revenge as Warriors superstar Kevin Durant limped away after Game 5 with an injury. Chris even did his best to stack the odds in his favor by allegedly keeping Steph from practicing on Houston's floor the night before Game 6. According to reports, Steph booked an hour at the Toyota Center to get some additional work in, but CP3 wasn't having that. He allegedly decided to go up to the Toyota Center and get some shots up, thereby nixing Curry's reservations. Steph offered to stick up a half court, but Paul did not agree and Curry was kicked out of the Toyota Center. The next game though, Steph got his revenge after scoring 33 in the second half, Game 6, to eliminate CP and the Rockets for the postseason for the second year in a row. After the game, a jubilant Steph was even heard expressing just how much he relished the victory after Chris's annex. But if you think the bitterness stopped then, you're just sadly mistaken. In an interview with Bleacher Report's Taylor Rooks back in February, Chris was asked to build the ultimate point guard, taking attributes from different players, and he had one very glaring omission that seemed intentional. To recap, Chris chose Derrick Rose's explosiveness, Kyrie Irving's finishing at the rack, Steve Nash's perimeter shooting, Russell Westbrook's rebounding ability, LeBron James' passing and vision, his own IQ, Deron Williams and Baron Davis' physique, and Gilbert Arenas' shot-making ability. Alright, did you see someone missing? Steph is the greatest shooter of all time, but Arenas? Come on, Arenas was good, but really? Curry was a 47.6% shooter from the field and 43.5% from three-point range. And when it's said and done, he will likely own every three-point record in history. Agent Zero, meanwhile, shot 42.1% from the field and 35.1% from beyond the arc over his 11 years in the NBA, never once coming close to Curry's effective field goal percentage in any season. And oh, he's playing in the Big Three, so check that out. It's certainly plausible that CP3 simply forgot to include him, but based on the history, that's awfully hard to believe. Now, we haven't seen Steph and Chris match up in over a year, especially because Steph had suffered a hand injury and kept on the sidelines for 60 games. Meanwhile, Chris has seemingly found the foundation of youth, leading the OKC Thunder to 5th in the West and a 40-24 record before the season was indefinitely suspended. Neither player will admit they have beef. Chris even laughed at the infamous double behind the back crossover Steph did on him in 2015. But the competitive juices that run in each other's veins, they will for sure be something to see in future matchups. Intense, exciting, fury, affairs to come. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give us a like, comment what other rivalries you want to see, and give us a subscribe if you're new to the channel. You dig? Thank you for watching.